Hey, this is Tyler 4K Equipment, and today I'm going to be showing you how to set up your base and rover on version 15 Pocket 3D. So what you can see here is I got my rover up on my rover rod, I got my bipods down, I got my tablet hooked onto my rover rod, then I have it snapped in and I have it tightened down. So this thing's solid. Then I also have my rover, it's off right now, so I'm going to turn it on. Then over here, we have our base station. It is on a base post concreted into the ground. Then my base is turned on. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna hop on the software. And usually when you do your first initial setup, say you don't have a receiver profile or anything up yet, then what you can do is you can make a receiver profile. Then after you make that, you'll be able to set up your base and everything. If you already have a receiver profile, then you do not have to make one every time you set up your base and rover or do a base and rover setup. So I'm gonna hit control here, machine setup here. I'm gonna hit new. Then I'm gonna call the configuration name. I'm gonna do hyper VR. Sensor type is GNSS. We're gonna be using US survey feet. Hit next. Antenna type, we're going to be selecting Hyper VR. If you're using like a different unit like SRVs, anything like that, then you can select them. But we are going to be using the VRs. Antenna height, we're going to keep that there, measured the base. And what that means is if we go to image on the right over here, it'll tell us this is where our measurements are going to be. So it's just going to be to the base of the rover to the tip of the rod. And we're going to hit next. And when you do have your rover rod snapped in and tightened down, your height is going to be at 2 meters or 6.562 feet. That's why I have my height set at that. If you have it set at a different height, you're going to have to enter it manually and grab a tape measure. We're going to leave all these right here. We're going to hit next. For radio type, since we have the newest Hyper VRs, we're actually going to be going down here and we're going to be selecting Citel TR4 Plus, and these are also UHF radios as well. So if say you had different UHF radios, then you do R2 Lite UHF if you had like the older model or older versions of the VRs. And if you have 900 megahertz, then you would do R2 Lite SS. But for these, we're going to be doing Citel TR4 Plus. Format, we're going to keep it at RTCM 3.x, and we're going to hit next. Now we are going to hit finish. And also on that page, just make sure it was Bluetooth. So now we have our profile made. It's highlighted blue. I'm going to tap OK. So now we have our rover profile or equipment file set up. You only have to do this once per set of receivers. Even if we had like another set, I could just leave this profile here, but you do not have to make a new profile every time you set up your base and rover. So what we're going to do now is hit control and we're going to start going through our base setup. So I'm going to hit GPS base station. And we are actually going to be setting up on a unknown point. If you're setting up on a known point with your base, you're going to have a fixed tripod and you're going to be leveled out and you're going to have to set it up on a control point and measure the height and enter that in. But we are set up on a random location that's concreted in the ground that we're going to, once we're done with our localization, it's just going to automatically measure into our job site. So if you're going to be doing the same thing as I am, then you want to do unknown point, add point to project. Then for name, I'm just going to call it base post because it's going to save this point in and it's going to save it as, and it's going to name it base post, and then it's easy to identify it. You can put a description. I usually don't. It's not really necessary. So I'm going to hit next here. Dimensions, we're going to keep your antenna type at Hyper VR. Just make sure that's right. Antenna height, we're going to keep that at 0. The antenna height only matters when you set up over a known control point with a fixed tripod. That's the only time your antenna height is going to matter for your base. But if you're gonna be set up random like I am, then I always keep my height at 0 because this height does not matter after you do your site localization. We're gonna do measured to base, and we're gonna hit next. For connection, it's gonna say Bluetooth, and we're actually gonna hit discover here. Then we're gonna hit refresh on the bottom left. Then this will basically find our base in our rover, and one way you can identify which Bluetooth device is yours is if you look under your unit, you will see something that says S-N, and there will be numbers after it. I usually look at the last 4 of those numbers, and my base station is going to be the 0162. So I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to hit select. Now I'm going to hit next. For radio type, we're going to be changing this to Satel TR4 Plus, just because that's what the newest version of VRs have. Keep the format RTCM3.x, and we're going to tap configure. So it's going to start connecting, and now a radio channel list is going to pop up. So it's going to say we're on 464.6. I'm going to change it to 464 or 461.1. You can choose whatever channels you want to use. It doesn't really matter as long as your base and rover are both on the same channel. So now I'm going to look at my power. That's 1 watt. That's good. Protocols PDL 4FSK. That looks good. Scrambling and FEC are both on. Repeater is off. These are the settings that I always use. I've never had issues with them before, and I highly recommend using them. Sometimes you have to change them for specific, maybe you're trying to connect your base to a machine or something, but yeah, I would definitely recommend using these settings. The channel, you can change that, but the rest of them, I keep them like that. So we're gonna hit set. Now we're gonna hit next. Also identify and make sure that your format is RTCM3.x. Now, what we did right there is we checked our base radio, and now we actually have to start the base and make it start transmitting. We're gonna make sure all these receiver setting options are checkmarked that are already checkmarked. Then we're gonna hit finish. Now it's gonna configure the base setup. And when you see base started successfully, that means you're good to go. So tap OK. Your base is now finally fully set up. And now we can move on to the rover. So we're going to hit control here. We're going to hit radios. Then on radio type, this is what radio we have in our rover. So we're going to tap configure in the bottom left. And since we already found our rover, or it's already scanned for it, the last 4 digits is the 0145 right here. And also we did change the name. There's a different video on our YouTube channel that tells you how to change your Bluetooth names, because it's a lot easier to identify, okay, this is the rover because it says it. But we're gonna make sure it's highlighted, tap connect. And now it's going to connect to the internal radio and tell us what channels they're at. Okay, so it says our channel is on 461.075. We want to change it to 461.1 because that's what our base station is on. Protocol, PDL4FSK, scrambling is on, FEC is on. So these are going to be matching our base settings. So after we tap set here, we're going to tap it here real quick. Everything should connect up good. So I'm going to tap OK. So as you see in the bottom left, it was orange, then it turned green. So now this means that our base and rover are both initialized. So we can click on the satellite icon in the bottom left, that's green. And as we can see, it's initialized, which that's what you're looking for. It's getting 15 satellites, that's pretty good. The horizontal and the vertical are looking great. Also, you can go over to info here, and you can see the corrections, which you want to make sure it's 1 second, 100%. If you did not connect your radio settings right, your percentage will be like 999, and your seconds will be like 999, or your percentage will be 0. So you want to make sure if this is looking good, then your radio settings are matching and they are connected. So after you just verify that, that means that you're good to go and start doing your localization and everything. Yeah, that's how you set up your Base Rover on version 15 Pocket 3D. Thanks for watching.